So I initially tried to do this on my computer, but it didn't want to work. So we're just going to try this on my phone. Sorry if the audio is really bad, but I had to redo this from earlier because my cat decided he wanted to walk on my computer and delete everything that I had written as like a little script for myself to go over for the summary. So here we go. The main purpose of the assessment is to gather information regarding the client with future proceedings of the client's care and the future care plan of the client that the counselor will make. Counselors will also not use the assessment results in any inappropriate way, which kind of seems like common sense to me, but unfortunately it's not to some people. Along with this, the clients have the rights to the results and any interpretations the counselor has made about said results or anything regarding them. Whenever doing an assessment, counselors should always try to do it to the best of their ability and not step out of their expert zone or expertise when doing assessments in order to help the client the best way they can and get the best results that they can. They also have the responsibility to make sure that all assessments are done appropriately and up to the level of instructions that it was initially made for. This also goes down to people that they supervise and make sure that they perform the assessments as well as they possibly can to the best of their ability. They're also responsible for the scoring interpretations of the results, the instruments being used, and the application of the assessment itself, like I previously stated. Clients also will be explained the process of the assessment, basically that they're getting informed consent at the very beginning of the process and any time throughout, given that they have any reservations or questions that might occur during the assessment trial or period. I don't know which word I want to use there. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. But all of this should be done in language that they can personally understand or that their legal representation can understand. And then data of these assessments with the client's consent will be released to only qualified individuals that are deemed as a qualified person to interpret the data from the assessment. And then in Section E, specifically Part 5, talks about the diagnosing of mental illnesses. It mainly speaks about how counselors should be extremely cautious when making a diagnosis of mental illnesses until all assessments can be used that have been greatly proven to help with the diagnosis of that specific mental illness. And then in some instances, they can refrain from giving the diagnosis if they believe it could lead to harm of the client or of clients or of clients' personal friends, family, loved ones, acquaintances. There we go. It's also really important to consider cultural upbringings and sensitivity around the mental illness itself, depending on historic and social prejudices that come along with it. And then with using assessments in the counseling field, counselors make sure they use appropriate instruments possible for the assessment being given. When possible, they will also use multiple kinds of assessments for the best amount of data possible. When being referred, they will also give questions for the third party to ensure the proper use of assessment instruments when they begin collecting their own data or going over old collected data. Counselors also do what they can to keep the assessment conditions as similar to the original testing conditions as possible to make sure that the results aren't compromised in any certain way, shape, or form. This means providing a private, free of distraction, and comfortable space for assessments for them to take the assessment in. In an ideal scenario, the client would be observed, but sometimes in the instrument instructions, it deems it that they need to be unsupervised. And then also along with this, counselors may pick assessments that have been normed on other cultures and attempt to use them on someone from a different culture. This should always be done with caution due to cultural diversity and significance. so you may not know how it could affect someone or how they will take it. Along with caution with cultural differences, counselors will also express caution when using instruments with very little or no empirical data present, or they really can't find any data about the instrument itself. Excuse me. Counselors also express any special conditions that were used in the assessment procedure of the professional relationship between the client and the counselor themselves. They also ensure to keep assessment results secure. They do not appropriate or modify assessment results without giving permission to the original publisher of the research, which is what Barnett and Johnson said, I believe, on page 94. Don't quote me on that. While giving credit using assessment results, they must also make sure that they do not use obsolete results or data. They do this mainly in a preventative manner. Counselors also should only use established scientific procedures when conducting assessments that are up to state and federal standards, potentially going as far as the IRB and maybe some research study instances. Excuse me, sorry. Like other evaluations, the main goal is to gather information when it comes to forensic proceedings. However, in legal proceedings, or forensic ones for that matter, objective information is the main goal that they are sent to gather. This information is based upon their professional experiences in the world and stuff that they have personally encountered and dealt with in their professional career. But they will still form their own opinion, which is based on the professional experience I just touched on. They also must define the limits of their reports and testimonies when they are evaluating others or they're giving their interpretations to others. But during the evaluation process itself, they must inform the person they are evaluating that this interaction or relationship is for evaluation purposes only. But there is an exception to an evaluating relationship, Barnett and Johnson say on page 95. Counselors do not evaluate current or former clients, romantic partners, or clients' family members for forensic purposes. And then end quote. They also do their best to avoid potentially harmful relationships with people associated with someone they have evaluated in the past during their professional relationship. Sorry, I'm not good at these. But yeah, I'll try and get better. I hope that was good.